So we're going to circle back now to where we started, which was that quiet autumn morning. It is still that quiet autumn morning, but it's morning somewhere else now, isn't it? The world has turned, the earth has turned, and we find ourselves at the end of this book. We find ourselves at the end of this particular journey, a journey we began on an ordinary day just a few months ago. I don't know what you were doing on that first day of January, but I do know that whatever you were doing, whatever you had planned, something came along and derailed those plans. Something came along and made you stop. You stopped and you listened. You listened to the words of an old woman who was telling stories about her life, stories about survival and determination and hope, stories about family and friends and laughter, stories about love and loss and faith. You sat with me around a fire as the snow fell outside, and we talked about the kinds of things that really matter in life, the big questions, the deepest fears, the quietest hopes. We talked about death and legacy and how our lives might make a difference in the world. And then something remarkable happened. As I told these stories, I felt myself becoming younger. That's not possible, is it? But it did happen. Not because the snow was falling or the fire was burning, but because of who was listening, because of your willingness to sit with me and talk about things that mattered, things that transcended age or circumstance or anything else. We talked about everything and nothing, about the shape of clouds and the taste of tea, about the resilience of the human spirit and the power of forgiveness. We talked about the things that have always mattered and will always matter, the things that connect us all as human beings, regardless of where we live or what we do or when we live. And as we talked, I realized that we were talking about more than just the stories I was telling. We were talking about the stories that have been told for thousands of years, the stories that are older than any of us and yet somehow always new, the stories that give meaning to our lives and help us to understand who we are and why we're here. Stories like the story of creation, the story of the fall, the story of redemption. Stories like the story of the Good Samaritan, the story of David and Goliath, the story of the prodigal son. Stories like the story of Ruth, the story of Esther, the story of Joseph. Stories of courage and faith, stories of hope and love, stories that have been passed down from generation to generation. Stories that have shaped civilizations and inspired revolutions, stories that have given people strength in times of trouble and shown them the way through darkness. The great thing about stories is that they never get old. They may be ancient, but they're never dated. They may be traditional, but they're never outmoded. They may be timeless, but they're never irrelevant. Stories are the way we make sense of the world. They're the way we pass on our culture and values. They're the way we connect with each other and understand each other. And so, as I've sat around the fire and told you these stories, I haven't just been telling you stories. I've been reminding you of the things that have always mattered and will always matter. I've been reminding you of the things that connect us all and make us one. I've been reminding you of the things that give life meaning and hope in the midst of despair. We've talked about gratitude, gratitude for the gift of life, for the beauty of the world, for the love of family and friends. We've talked about resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity, to keep going when things are tough, to never give up. We've talked about community, the importance of belonging, of being part of something bigger than ourselves. We've talked about hope, the belief that things will get better, that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that no matter how dark it gets, it can't get any darker. And we've talked about faith, the kind of faith that moves mountains, that makes the impossible possible, that turns despair into hope, fear into courage, doubt into certainty. These are the things that have always mattered and will always matter. These are the things that connect us all. These are the things that give life meaning. As we come to the end of this journey, I want you to take these things with you. I want you to hold on to them and let them guide you, let them comfort you, let them strengthen you. Now, when you look back over your own life, what are the moments that stand out the most? What are the moments that have shaped who you are today? What are the moments that have taught you the most? For me, they're the quiet moments, the moments when I've been alone with my thoughts or with God, when I've been able to reflect on my life and the things that really matter. They're the moments when I've been grateful for something, when I've been thankful for the gift of life, for the beauty of the world, for the love of family and friends. They're the moments when I've been resilient, when I've been able to bounce back from adversity, to keep going when things are tough, to never give up. They're the moments when I've been part of a community, when I've been part of something bigger than myself, when I've felt the support of others, when I've been able to give back. They're the moments when I've had hope, when I've believed that things will get better, that there's light at the end of the tunnel. that no matter how dark it gets, it can't get any darker. They're the moments when I've had faith, when I've trusted in a power greater than myself, when I've known that I'm not alone, that someone is with me every step of the way. These are the moments that have shaped me. These are the moments that have made me who I am. So as we come to the end of this journey, I want you to think about your own story, about the moments that have shaped you, about the moments that have taught you the most. I want you to hold on to those moments and let them guide you, let them comfort you, let them strengthen you. And I want you to remember that you're not alone. You're part of a community of people who are going through the same things you are, who have the same hopes and dreams you have, who have the same fears and struggles you have. You're part of a community that has been with you since the beginning, that will be with you until the end, that will be with you for all eternity. So go out into the world today and be thankful. Be thankful for the gift of life, for the beauty of the world, for the love of family and friends. Be thankful for the moments that have shaped you, that have taught you the most. Be thankful for the community that has been with you since the beginning. And most of all, be thankful for God's love. A love that is everlasting, a love that is unconditional, a love that is eternal. Go out into the world today and be grateful. Be grateful for everything you have, for everything you are, for everything you hope to be. Be grateful and give thanks to God, for in the end, that is all that will matter. And now we come to the end of this story. And like all stories, there's a bit of a lull now. The music fades, the lights dim, the audience applauds. It's over. But then, and only then, do you realize that the story isn't really over, it's just begun. You see, stories live on after they've been told. They echo in our hearts and minds long after the last word has been spoken. They become part of us. They shape us. They mold us. They make us who we are. And so it is with this story. It's not just a story you read a while ago. It's a story that's now a part of you. It's a story that will stay with you for the rest of your life. It's a story that will remind you of the things that really matter. It's a story that will give you strength in times of trouble, that will show you the way through darkness, that will lead you to hope, that will bring you home. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for listening to these stories. Thank you for sharing them with others. And above all, thank you for living your story. May it be a story that brings you joy and laughter, hope and faith, love and peace. And may it be a story that you tell with a smile, knowing that no matter what happens, you'll be okay. Because the story isn't over, it's just begun.